Welcome to the Eye Opener. I'm your host, Michael Lewis. Since November 3rd, the U.S. election has been the focus of global attention. This is because the next elected U.S. president will play a very important role in shaping the world situation and is critical for the United States. With the second wave of the pandemic and the political situation in China, the U.S. is in a relatively delicate stage. The international community is saying no to the Chinese Communist Party, and the U.S. criticism and crackdown are what the CCP fears the most. In the afternoon of December 28th, the so-called President-elect of the United States, Joe Biden, gave a speech on national security and foreign policy. I was hoping he would express his views on the issue of the CCP, which is of general concern for most Americans. Instead, the theme of his speech turned into accusations against the President Trump administration. Biden said he had been put through a lot of alleged roadblocks in the defense and security transition. Biden complained to the mainstream media that President Trump's administration did not give him any information, especially regarding critical national security information. After Christmas Day, President Trump said that he would win. He tweeted on December 27th and continued to urge people to go to the rally in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. The crowd would put pressure on the joint session of Congress to get fair election results. He also said that he would attend the rally in Georgia on January 4th to support the two Republicans who are running in the Senate runoff elections on January 5th. On December 27th, the Texas U.S. Representative Louis Gohmert, along with 11 Arizona Republican electors, filed a lawsuit in bid to overturn the presidential election results. You may be surprised to learn who the target is. They are suing Vice President Mike Pence. The lawsuit is not about criminal charges, but the role of Mike Pence in the upcoming joint session of Congress on January 6th. They are seeking two rulings from the federal judge. First, the Electoral Count Act of 1887 should be ruled unconstitutional because it only allows the vice president to play a ceremonial role in certifying election results, and no exceptional authority is granted. This is inconsistent with the relevant requirements of the 12th Amendment. Second, the federal judge was asked to grant Mike Pence exclusive authority so that Mike Pence could have more power on January 6th to determine which states' results were invalid, thus helping President Trump overturn the disputed results. However, according to some legal analysts in the mainstream media, the lawsuit filed by Louis Gohmert and others may not serve the intended purpose. But what really matters is Mike Pence himself. How willing is he to stand up for President Trump on January 6th? He himself has not made his stance clear yet. Meanwhile, more evidence of election controversy continues to emerge. For example, a mathematician examined more than 9 million ballots in Pennsylvania just this weekend and found that more than 520,000 of them had a unique last name. Since we all have fathers and uncles and they all share the same last name, it would be odd if so many people in Pennsylvania were the only ones with that particular last name. The best explanation is that they are all forgeries. The Pennsylvania House of Representatives found that there was a huge problem with the results of the Pennsylvania government certification, and that the current number of votes exceeded the actual number of Pennsylvania voters by about 200,000. So where did all these extra votes come from? Also, a new charge states that Nevada's Secretary of State sent the voter data list to Pakistani intelligence firm during the election, which is extensive evidence of foreign interference in the U.S. election. President Trump's team is still continuing their fight for election integrity. Meanwhile, on the evening of December 27th, President Trump, who's in the final stages of his first presidential term, signed the COVID-19 relief bill and 2021 federal budget that has been stalled for more than a week, although he requested some changes to be made. The White House released a statement from the president. As president, I have told Congress that I want far less wasteful spending and more money going to the American people in the form of $2,000 checks per adult and $600 per child. On Monday afternoon, December 28th, the House of Representatives voted to amend the pandemic relief bill to boost direct payments to Americans from $600 to $2,000. It is now awaiting the Senate to pass the bill. President Trump also mentioned in a statement that Congress will review Section 230, which will either be terminated or substantially reformed. At dawn on Christmas Day, an explosion occurred in downtown Nashville, the capital of Tennessee. The Federal Bureau of Investigation had targeted a 63-year-old Nashville resident, Anthony Warner, as a suspect for investigation. Officials announced Sunday, December 28th, that a DNA match with Warner's mother confirmed that the human remains found at the scene of the bombing belonged to Warner, who died in the explosion. Prosecutors have classified the bombing as a suicide attack. Warner was an information technology contractor, had experience with electronics and alarm systems, and had no marital record. But public records show that last year and this year, Warner twice transferred 2 properties in his name to a 29-year-old woman in Los Angeles for $0 without compensation. The woman claimed she had no knowledge of this, and she did not want to disclose her relationship with Warner, saying she would report the information directly to the FBI. Publicly available information shows that AT&T, which was severely damaged in the explosion, has operated a large-scale communications listening facility for the NSA since 2003, located in room 641A at 611 Folsom Avenue in San Francisco. An NSA analyst revealed that there are 10 to 20 similar rooms throughout the United States. The information came to light in 2006. Now, is information surveillance by the U.S. intelligence community a proper way to monitor terrorism, or is it a violation of the First Amendment? Is this power being abused, like Trump's allegations of wiretapping in the 2016 election? In addition, the Chinese Communist Party rationalizes surveillance and wiretapping of its people by saying that we are all birds of a feather and that all governments wiretap. What are your thoughts on this? What's even more suspicious is that on December 25th, in addition to the explosion in Tennessee, a huge fire broke out at a printing plant in New York State, nearly destroying the entire building. This is the same printing plant previously reported by a U.S. Post Office employee to be the suspected printer of Pennsylvania's suspicious ballots. On December 27th, the Trump campaign retweeted the 2 video clips of The Plot to Steal America for the 4th time and said it is a must-see. These 2 video clips are about 18 minutes long, and they reveal how the leftist politicians, the media, and tech giants control public opinion and thoughts. In addition, they joined forces to steal the 2020 U.S. presidential election and showed the Chinese Communist Party was behind it all. President Trump has never retweeted the same video 4 times before. Is the presidential election result challenge really blowing up? Before Christmas, President Trump's lawyer Giuliani said in a video that things will really start to blow up after Christmas. He said that when people see President Trump's evidence, it can be very shocking to the country. I wonder if President Trump's retweeting the same video 4 times represents the beginning of this process. We still don't know how President Trump's team will challenge the election results. If only some evidence was exposed, under a dead judicial system in America, it is doubtful that the results of the Democratic parties can be overturned. There is no shortage of evidence for President Trump's team. There is already a lot of evidence and sworn witnesses. If just one of them were properly addressed by the Department of Justice, we would not be in this situation. Bill Bledsoe, vice chairman of the Constitution Party of South Carolina and former South Carolina senatorial race candidate, believes CCP's interference in the election is a sure thing. He told Epoch Times that the only way to fix the U.S. elections and save America is through military courts and military tribunals that can only be activated by President Trump. Bledsoe pointed out that military tribunals will be different from declaring martial law. They are not about putting Congress and the Constitution on hold. It is also different from the Insurrection Act, as it is not up to the military to quell the street riots propelled by the Chinese Communist Party. Bledsoe said President Trump has taken every legal approach but was denied by 20 judges. He questioned why they are doing this when the entire future of the country is depending on it, unless they are members of the deep state and they have financial ties to the CCP. Bledsoe also mentioned that there are many people from the deep state in the U.S. legislative system, including politicians, members of the CIA, and the FBI. He said that he can no longer trust the legal system now. Bledsoe pointed out that since judges in civilian courts across the United States are not concerned about this, then military courts is the last option. He said President Trump, if he's going to save our country, is going to have to use military courts and military tribunals. He said we need to expose the CCP's manipulation of this election by presenting the evidence to the military tribunal. He believed that the military tribunal can prove that the CCP carefully orchestrated this entire thing. Bledsoe said, I don't see the Supreme Court's actions, the legislators' actions. They had a chance to become the heroes to save our country, but I don't think the Supreme Court is going to do that. President Trump is the only one with the courage to do it, to do anything at all. It's hard to know if that's what President Trump will do, but the analysis that Bledsoe has done and the options he has offered are certainly worth considering. The 10-day countdown for the January 6th joint session of Congress has begun, and there is less than a month left before the president's inauguration on January 20th. It can be said that time is getting tight for President Trump. Will the president be able to set things right? We can only wait and see. The presidential seat is still uncertain, however. The Democrats are certainly being challenged in Congress. It may be because of this that there have been internal conflicts within the Democratic Party. Are the Democrats cracking under the pressure as the truth is exposed? As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. says, a lie cannot live. While the election dispute continues, the CCP virus continues to spread, with more infectious strains appearing around the world. The new virus strain has now been discovered in the United Kingdom, South Africa, Canada, Japan, Norway, Sweden, Portugal, and many other countries. A couple from Canada was infected, but has no record of international travel, thus raising concerns that the strain has spread locally in Canada. The outbreak has also escalated in Beijing and Dalian City in China. In the past half month, 13 new cases have been confirmed in 3 districts of Beijing, and the sources of the infection is still unknown, so all district departments and companies in Beijing have entered a state of emergency. In response to the latest wave of outbreaks, the United States, Canada, and the European Union have initiated large-scale vaccinations. According to the Brazilian Health Research Institute, the vaccine produced by the Chinese biopharmaceutical company named Sinovac Biotech is more than 50% effective. But as Sinovac requests, precise vaccine efficacy data will be released in 15 days. Brazil's São Paulo State Health Secretary said last Thursday that the effectiveness of Sinovac's vaccine did not reach 90% and was not comparable to those of Pfizer and Moderna in the United States. Well, that's it for today, my friends. Make sure to like and share, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.